Voting on 7 is actually a very common Among Us mistake. I'm going to talk about voting on 7 in today's Among Us video. Voting on 7 is actually a very common Among Us mistake, especially because the game has gotten so heated and out of control. 3 people are already dead, and their crewmates are usually unsure of what to do. So sometimes this results in the majority of the group deciding to vote on 7, which is actually a huge mistake. And the reason why this is a huge mistake is because if you vote incorrectly, what will happen is that you'll be left with 4 crewmates and 2 imposters. And this is important because what the imposters can do after that is they can call a sabotage, and they can perform what we better know as a double kill. So a double kill will result in a scenario where there are only 2 crewmates and 2 imposters. When there are 2 crewmates and 2 imposters, the game is essentially over already because the crewmates can never have the majority to vote out the imposters, and as a result, the imposters automatically win by default. So you see, that's why voting on 7 is so risky, because voting on 7 might get an imposter out, but if you're wrong, you absolutely will lose the game. In the investment world, this is what we call a poor scenario or poor investment scenario, which is basically you are taking a particular investment or particular strategy where you have a low potential return but a high potential risk. In the investment world, we call this a dud or a dud piece of action. It's not a good idea, it's not a good action to carry out. Similar to Among Us, in the investment world, what happens is that people tend to make very impulsive decisions like voting on 7 when they buy or sell investments without too much thought, when they don't have enough information, usually when they're impulsive, when they're overconfident, or even simply when they're just tired and trying to get the game over with as quickly as possible. In my line of work as an investment specialist, I see a lot of people voting on 7 all the time without realizing what a terrible proposition that is for their personal and financial lives. While you simply lose a game of Among Us in the virtual world, in the real world there are far more terrible consequences because you simply can't take back decisions like that so easily. Every year, millions of people vote on 7 when it comes to their investments because they're impulsive or overconfident, and what happens is they end up losing millions and millions of dollars. Much like playing Among Us, try not to make any impulsive decisions while you're making investment decisions. It's important to have a longer or extended discussion with your crewmates so you have more information so that you can save the game. Always seek investment advice from a licensed professional, and I would be happy to have the extended conversation with you as a fellow crewmate.